Hello, hi, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, it's Omar. How you doing? You alright? How's it going? Can you hear me? Hello to Auto Bear Official. How you doing? How you doing, buddy? Can you hear me? Just let me, because I'm sitting in the car, and I don't know if it's actually synced to the car. So so it may be that I'm supposed to be speaking through the Bluetooth or something. I'm not sure. Hello to Zain Ahmed. How you doing? You alright? Thanks for joining. All good. Yeah, you can hear. Oh, that's amazing. That's incredible, isn't it? A little bit of a lag. Yeah, that's just the nature of Instagram. So, how's everybody doing? What's everybody's opinion on the Toyota Supra that I've been rocking around for the last few days? I'd love to get your opinions and your feedbacks on the new Toyota Supra, because it's one of the things that there's a lot of discussion and debate about the fact that is the Toyota Supra a Supra because of the collaboration with BMW. Hello to Reza, how you doing? Hey man, what's happening? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's see if this works. The Mark IV is way better. Yeah, well, I had the Mark II. Hello,
Hello.
how you doing?
Okay.
The
What are you
magic of
driving?
the internet.
Huh?
The magic of the internet.
Yes, indeed. It's actually very clear. You've got really good Wi-Fi, it seems.
I'm in data. I'm sitting in the car. We've got a few
But
people joining. Oh, we've got quite a few people joining. How you all doing? What about the hybrid Toyota Yaris? What about the hybrid Toyota Yaris? It's pretty good, I reckon. For a Yaris. So Reza, what was your take on the Auto Bear official says, love the look of it, but it's always going to receive criticism due to the BMW collaboration. So what's your opinion on the Toyota Supra that I've been rocking around in for the last few days?
oh God, Japanese cars.
Yeah, but it ain't Japanese. That's the problem, isn't it? It's not
Yeah,
Japanese.
no, but here's the
It's not
thing.
even made in
Here's the
Japan.
thing. It
Oh,
undoubtedly looks Japanese. And having not driven it, and I went only on your feedback, and so I won't say I'm purist like you. If
yeah.
the heart is a BMW, do you remember when Bentley had BMW engines in them, and people used to scoff at this? It's not that I'm scoffing at it, but
Yeah, Bentleys have Volkswagen engines now.
have VW engines in them, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But actually, my opinion is not as relevant as the journalist's opinion. I'd like to hear your opinion, and then I'll bounce off that. What did you make
Well,
of it?
I'm going to put it all in a review, aren't I? But
No, but roughly, first of all, did you enjoy driving it?
I did. I did. Yeah, it's a good car. It's a
And
good car.
and and were you?
So, hey, it's Omar says, I like the 90s pick of you and your Supra. Now, you see, you bring up a really good point. Now, there's two good points. One that Reza brought up and one that you've just brought up. And the one that you've just brought up is that I really related to my old Supra. And obviously, I couldn't help but compare it to the Supra. And the Supra felt very much my old Supra, felt very much like a Toyota. It felt like a Toyota because there is a Toyota. And the new Supra didn't feel like a Toyota. That's not to say that it's not a good car. Of course, it's a good car. I've driven the Z4, and the Z4 was great. And you make a very good point, Reza, where you brought up Bentley, and you can bring up Rolls Royce as
That's
well.
right. Yes,
Because essentially, Rolls Royce is a BMW, right?
that's
And
exactly correct.
Bentley is
Yes,
Volkswagen. So,
that's right.
and my point of view is that a
So
lot
no,
of
here's the relevance.
yeah,
People like you and me that have been around for, well, in your case, 50 plus years. In my case, 50, less than 50 years. But we've been around long enough.
not that big a gap.
No. The point, there's a point. There is a point. There is a point that I'm trying to make. We kind of remember there was this thing about 20 years ago because sort of economies of scale set into the car manufacturing world, and different brands and different manufacturers used to use each other's chassis and
Yeah.
and door handles. And like Aston Martin used to have 4 door handles on it, if you recall, and that was like a big thing. And
Well,
everyone's been
my favorite car,
Frankensteining each other,
well,
but.
my favorite car, the Lotus, is entirely made up of bits from other manufacturers,
And
isn't it?
what do you feel about that? And what is it you feel? How do you feel about
Well,
that?
it's more than the sum of its parts.
That's a lovely way of saying it, but the question that's arisen on your Instagram and your posts over the past couple of days, you raised the question, and I suspect you raised the question because you were feeling slightly, well, there you go, slightly uncomfortable about driving around a Japanese car with clearly a BMW identity to it. And I think it was bothering you because it was bothering you primarily because you had the original in the 90s. And as an enthusiast and someone who's trying to evoke those memories, you want it to be pure.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to link back. It's a nostalgia. So there's two things to think about here. One is the nostalgia thing. I wanted to link back to what I remember as a Supra, to what I identify and equate as a Supra, or as even as a Toyota. You know, there's certain things. You get into a Toyota, there's a distinctive smell, right? This Supra smelled more like a BMW than a Toyota, right? Is that
a good thing or a bad thing? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Again, if I'm trying to relate it to being a Supra, then it's a bad thing because it's not giving me the Toyota-ness of being a Supra, which is what I kind of want. But on the other hand, if I'm approaching it cold and I'm going, well, actually, it's a really nicely built car, it's really well engineered, and it's fun to drive, then that's a different thing, right? Altogether different thing. Now, you raised a really good point earlier. Look at that.
Thank you. You can say that again. Say that one more time.
I'm old school movie now. I'm old school. It's part of the problem, isn't it? Being too old. Yeah, because you're hung up on these things. You're hung up on these identities, and you're hung up on these on what you think should be pure or what should not be pure, right? But one thing that you mentioned was very relevant, and that was the economies of scale and the collaborations, right? And the point of that is that you know, if you think about it, the Supra ended in 2002, right? Until this one arrived in 2019. That's a 17-year gap where we've had no Supra, we've got no Celica, we've still got no Celica, we've got no MR2, we've got no Honda Prelude, we've got no Honda CRX, we haven't got the Mazda 99 Coupe. All of these great cars that we remember when we were younger have all vanished because the economics of making coupes and sports cars doesn't make sense. You'll never sell enough, right, to justify it. You'll never sell enough of them. So it doesn't make sense. So manufacturers won't invest. But if they collaborate, if they get together, if Toyota go to Subaru and say, hey, can we build a G86? If BMW says, hey, we were going to kill the Z4, but now we've got an opportunity to keep it going.
That's right, because it's only a marginal spend to do it.
Yeah.
But here's a question. Once again, I think I'm asking more questions than you're asking me. The question is, do you think this new Supra is aimed at you?
I think that there's probably a certain part or a certain context in which they probably were thinking of doing that, because there's no doubt that they're not.
There's the flashing red and green.
Right now, little bit of screen glare there. That's very Star Trek. Well, yes. I thought that they were trying to cash in on the nostalgia, because by reviving a name, you're obviously trying to do that, right? If you're going to revive an old name, then that's fundamentally what you're trying to do. You're trying to cash in on the affection and the loyalty that people still have towards that brand, right? So,
not 100% with you, because in our area, and we live relatively local to each other, you've got these 16-year-old drug dealers driving around in Mercedes AMGs, and what do they know about quality other than the quality of their merchandise? What I'm trying to say is, the point I'm trying to make is this seemingly, once again, at a distance, I haven't driven this car, I haven't been in this Supra yet, it's not for you. It's for and given that gap, it's actually, we're going for a younger audience that wants to look cool in something that has got history to it, but it's got absolutely no history. The shell is just a shell. Otherwise, it's a BMW.
Yeah.
So what you've got is, in my opinion, it's a relatively pretty looking car. Your Supra, I'm not into the Japanese cars, but I think your Supra, the new Supra, is a pretty car. It's got those curves that late 90s Supra had. It was quite chunky. I thought that was actually a very aggressive looking car, and I haven't seen this one, but I think it's aimed at the younger audience that wants to have something with a bit more cachet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I think you have a very good point. I'll say hello to Ben Miller 3655, who's saying hello. So hello back to you. Thanks everybody for joining. So those of you who are joining us, we're just having a discussion about the Toyota Supra that I've been rocking around recently. Catch up on it by searching for hashtag BCG Toyota Supra. And
you mean you mean the BMW Supra?
Well, that's exactly what we're discussing.
There
And
we
what
go.
point you just made is that perhaps it's not at the traditional audience, i.e. me, because I used to own one, but perhaps it's aimed at newer people that don't have to have the baggage of trying to relate it to the older car. And for them, it's just a good, high quality, actually German made car, you know. And I think you're right. I think that there's definitely part of that. And I think that's exactly what Bentley has done, for example. That's exactly what Rolls-Royce has done, is they've cashed in on a whole new audience by giving them an entirely new product that doesn't carry any of the baggage of the older products. If you drive a Silver Shadow now, you'll think it's rubbish. If I drive a Silver Shadow now, I love it because I relate to it. Right, and I won't mind its character foibles and the fact that the steering is
No,
not.
those are the eccentricities that you want in the first place. You don't want it because it's perfect. You want it because it brings a character to the deal.
Yeah.
So,
Whereas the new race is perfect.
and that's a criticism in itself.
Well,
Something can be.
to be fair, not for Rolls Royce because they always claimed to be the best car in the world, didn't they? So I guess it kind of makes sense for them, you know. But I don't. It's the same. Like, would you pay, you know, what is it, £500,000 for a Bentley, and then somebody says, "Oh, you're just driving a Volkswagen"? Like, oh my God, how does that, you know?
On that note, by the way, what car are you sitting in right now? That looks like a. What is it? Some sort of, is that a BMW? I don't know what it is.
Well,
it's got really nice headrests. What is it?
This is today's hashtag guess the car. So I'm not just going to give it away.
Oh, I thought someone had already worked it out. Is it a Beamer or something like? It looks like it's an 8 Series or something.
No, a few people have worked it out. Hello to DXB078. Are you still in Japan, mate? In Japan? This is somebody joining us from Japan. I'm going to give you the tease. Quick flash there.
That's a BMW 8 Series. That's an 8 Series, yeah?
It's a 420.
Okay, well, they all look the same to me, but they're very expensive.
Not this one. And this brings us on to another debate that petrol heads are having at the moment, and that is the grille, the new grille that exists on the front of this particular car. You know,
it's brilliant.
You like it.
I think I personally think BMW are back.
So all the people on here at the moment, I want to show hands who likes the grille on the new BMW.
On every BMW.
The lock knob on the door is very much BMW. Are you talking about the Supra?
No, the car behind. You know, they're obviously commenting on the.
Oh, I see. You've locked that and the striped seatbelt.
And yes, there you go. It's not an actual M. You see, that's one thing I resent. I totally have a hang up about putting the letter M or AMG on a car that doesn't have the engine from M Sport. I can't stand it. But you know,
now all Mercedes cars have AMG on them, AMG body kit on them, don't they?
Well, seemingly, but there's no such thing as AMG body kit. Is just something Mercedes made up. It was all about the engine.
Aesthetic. Well, it's once they bought AMG, then they tried to basically call any component AMG, which is what they're doing.
Again, it's for these young kids that really don't know their history.
But Kamui. So just for Kamui's benefit, just to confirm, this is the BMW 420i.
So are you saying you've just broken your hashtag guess the car rule on this live chat? Well done.
Exclusively tuning in to our Instagram live right now. Here's the secret. Here's the secret. Today's hashtag guess the car is in fact the BMW 420.
Have you driven it yet? Have you done the donuts in it yet?
Arrived this morning. I've done a few local trips. That's all. Nothing much yet. But
no.
But so far so good. Very high tech. Very much feels like a BMW. You know, I'm looking forward to spending time. And again, I used to own an coupe, right?
And I've been in that one. And that was fantastic. It was absolutely amazing.
Right? So this two-door. This is essentially the modern version of that.
I was going to say that. That's exactly what I was going to say. Essentially, this is your update. Oh, you've done it 2 days running now. You've had the modern version of the cars you've owned.
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't you drive a modern Lotus? Oh, yeah, because you never owned a Lotus. That was a faux pas on my part.
I'm trying to think if I have any pictures of the BMW in a particular place where I should try and replicate.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you should do that. I think you should do that. I think that was, you know, actually, it's part of the Instagram and social media culture to do these historical time leaps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've noticed it for the past couple of weeks, and your one, actually, it was a nice piece of art. You know, it's a shame you didn't find that location, but.
Hello to Shreyash, all the way from India. How's everybody doing? So I got people from Japan, people from India joining. Hello to Dank Car I don't even care. Memer, is that Memer?
That Dank Car Memer.
Dank Car Memer. So that's pretty cool.
The super picture. Super picture was cool.
Thanks, Kamui. I'm glad you
What filter did you use on that? Was that like a sepia kind of thing?
Yeah, because you know the original picture
was taken in 1853.
Was 90 from 90 was on a film camera, and for some reason at that time I was experimenting with sepia film, so it was actually shot on film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was shot on sepia film. That's why it's that color. So when
I have a very, very vague memory of you when we worked briefly together. What was it, about 23, 24 years ago? Of you having sepia film on Kodak.
Yeah.
Am I right? Is that memory associated with you?
That's right. That's what I used to use. Hello to.
So that's late 90s. Late 90s.
Somebody from Houston, Kashif. Hello, Kashif, all the way from Houston. How you doing? How's it? Houston, we have a problem. We're trying to figure out if the Supra is a Toyota or a BMW, and we're
no. You moved on from that problem. You moved on to asking people whether they like the new BMW grills.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure out if the grill is acceptable on the front of this car. The hugest kidney grill ever to be on a BMW. Is it acceptable or not? I think it'll.
Well, what do you think, by the way? Well, what do you think?
You know, now that I've seen the car in the metal and I've just spent a few hours with it, I honestly don't find it as offensive as I thought.
Oh, high praise indeed. What does that mean? Do you like it or you don't like it?
Well, I'll tell you in a couple of days. What I do like is the rest of the car. I think that because I've just been out photographing it.
Okay, here's a question. Does it lend the car a more aggressive look or more of a I'm trying to show off look? Which one of those two is it?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I think it's I'm trying too hard look. A little bit, you know. I think that's what it's doing, you know. Saw it only once. Kashif says saw it only once. It seemed acceptable in real life. Yeah, if you're referring to the kidney grill, Kashif, I agree with you. I think that the kidney grills kind of really get accentuated in photos, but in real life they don't really stand out that much. They just, you know. And you know what? There is a precedent for the elongated kidney grills in BMW history, because if you look at BMW. They did have the elongated kidney grills. That's how.
Obviously not as that big, but the dimensions were like that.
They were actually taller because you remember the bonnets were much higher in those cars. But they were narrower. They were narrower, but they were taller. So
I happen to think when they're blackened out, and because I think that's a standard option. Is that a standard option to have them blackened out?
Blackened out, yeah.
Yeah, they look better. It's when they're silver they stand out a bit too. It's a bit too. You know, there's too much chrome going on, kind of thing. But.
I personally don't like the grill. In fairness, when I saw it in person, it wasn't as horrendous as in the picture, but still it's not my preference. And as I think we will adjust time. Yeah, I think I agree with both of you. I think that, you know, it stands out a lot in the photos, but when you meet the car, you're like, yeah, it's okay. It's not too bad. It kind of works, you know. So, you know, I think it's okay, you know.
Very clever marketing on BMW's part. Very, very clever marketing.
You know, oh my goodness, look at that.
That's a fisheye.
That's weird, isn't it? I'm gonna go big mouth. That's so weird. I can just alien alert. No, the point is like a bit like the big kidney grill, right? That's what I've just done to my face, right? And I think that what BMW are doing.
I think people will get used to that eventually.
They could get used to this. I think, yeah, they could get used to this.
Yeah, they're talking to a fish.
My wife.
A goldfish.
But I think the point is, I can't change it now. Look, I'm stuck with this. But the point is that I think that what BMW are trying to do is trying to give themselves new identifiers, you know, new identities, you know. And I think, you know, I think that's a brave move because, you know, you got to do something different every now and then.
What's up, Doc?
Yeah, woof, woof, woof.
Is it a dog? For a second, I thought it had sort of a rabbit nose.
I'm assuming it's a dog, but you know, every dog has its day. Look at that. Every dog has
a Valentine Day special, and that's slightly Trekky, Star Trekky, isn't it? Sort of like beam me up kind of thing.
I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone. That's it.
You're in that zone. You're absolutely in that zone. Sort of Krypton factor even.
That's it, exactly. And oh my God, Kamui took a screenshot of that. That's something you can use to scare the children.
The 7 Series grill appears a lot better. Yeah, I agree. The 7 Series, they're to be honest, they're all looking slightly edgier, slightly more aggressive, and slightly more presency, if you know what I mean.
5 Series is a really handsome car. I really think so. I think it's a really good looking car. And I think actually, I think because they've gone back to how the 5 Series used to look. And that's why it's good.
Well, are you talking about that shark, that shark look that they had before?
Yeah, of that 90s era, 2000s era, that I think was really, really good era.
I think they're trying to woo the Audi audience.
Yeah.
Personally. I think so. Yeah. It's that sort of people who don't really know their cars but want something aggressive and fast.
Yeah.
Such as Audi owners. To move over to BMW.
Yeah. No.
Again.
It's
you know the type of drivers that drive 1 foot behind you on when you're pottering around. Well, those kind of things.
It's easy to be critical of these things, but at the same time, it's past midnight.
Your Japanese audience is exiting, by the way.
Good night to Kamui because he's going to bed, so it's late in Japan. And Trace is in love with the M2 competition. I adore the M2 competition. As a driver's car, it is, almost beyond anything out there. It's fantastic. But I think that, it's easy to criticize manufacturers, but at the same time, if they keep churning out the same stuff, they also lend themselves to criticism. So every now and then they've got to try something different, right? They've got to stand out. They've got to differentiate this generation from the previous one and from the next one, right? It's got to be tried, right?
And they've done it. And BMW have done it, and they're doing it, I think, quite successfully. I think they need to bring out a Z8 replacement sometime soon. Oh. I used to have. That was the car I always wanted at that time. They're sort of like 2-seater drop-top car.
Just the steering wheel alone is so sweet on that car, but that's very much a retro style car.
That is very, but those, I don't know why they haven't produced something like that every game. Or maybe they haven't.
I mean, when it first came out, there was some criticism about how it drove. I remember driving it. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it did exactly what it was meant to.
It had that thing. You used to fishtail out of a corner, didn't it? It used to like corrective jugger out of a corner.
An old school, a postmobile. It's the prettiest BMW out there, right?
It was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Muscular. It was James Bond. James Bond drove it. He didn't drive it. It just sliced it in half.
Yeah, it was. But that was quite a sad moment. But anyway, the point of that car was that it wasn't there. You see, the trouble is, what happens is a lot of journalists, they're not happy unless they're wringing a BMW's neck around the racetrack. And I'm sorry, but the vast majority of BMW owners will never go anywhere near a racetrack, so you don't get it. If you're judging the car on the fact that it doesn't grip and it doesn't perform at 10/10, it's like, well, you're judging it wrong. That's not the way to judge it. The way to judge it is how people normally drive it. And the way the Z8 was designed and engineered was perfectly in tune with the criteria. It was a
postmobile, but you could have fun in that car, and that's really what you want out of something like that.
Yeah.
But why haven't they done it? Oh, look, you've got some longish quotes.
Sheree says BMW needs to work on interior design compared to the competition. They are dated. Yeah, but if I turn this around and you can see this, I see what you mean. It's dated, but at the same time, it works so well because everything is exactly where it will be. It works exactly how you expect it to work. I mean, I suppose it's one of those, if it ain't broke, why fix it? But I do get your point. Maybe two car manufacturers from the 80s were absolutely had it nailed when it came to ergonomics, and that was BMW and Saab. And it was always like you could just reach everything. Everything was like just so precise, like a cockpit aimed at you. That's fantastic. And if that's what they're doing, they should keep doing that. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they're just basically evolving that same concept, and I think that's great. I mean, you get in this car and this thing comes out and hands you this thing comes out and hands you the seatbelt, I always end up saying thank you to it. But, it's little things like that, where, I turn this car off because I'm parked now. So I turn the engine off. And, sometimes, when you turn the engine off, obviously then the AC cuts out, stereo cuts out. Interesting thing happened. I turned the engine off and an indicator came up on the screen saying, "Do you want to keep the vent running?" So it actually realized that I might be waiting in the car, and it asked me if I want to keep the air conditioning running, which I thought was very clever.
It's that cockpit scenario. You're sitting in a cockpit, and it sort of like wants you to feel as if the focus is on you. So that individual attention, whether you want to, oh, there we go. It's very Pac-Man, very digital.
There you go. That's how we used to use the internet in 1990.
Dial-up internet.
that was our internet in 1999, wasn't it? Oh, there you go. That's how you
exactly
describe
right.
BMW, right? That's how you.
Oh, looking very cool. In fact, why don't you? You should. I think you should play a little bit of music from time to time. I've noticed that Jimmy has just joined you. Jimmy, who's Japanese pop, I play from time to time when I'm driving around.
Oh,
so
wow.
You should play some Japanese pop that Jimmy puts together. I've been enjoying that for months now. It's my thing.
The stuff with the animation as well, right?
That's right. That's exactly correct.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Brilliant. Really, really good. I have to enjoy it. Nice to see you online, Jimmy, and well done with the stuff you're producing. Keep doing what you're doing. It's great. So yeah, quite a few people joining us, and today we were just talking about, the debate regarding the Toyota Supra and the grille on the BMW, the new.
Hang on. I've just noticed something. You're parked 100 meters away from me. Is that correct?
I probably am. Waiting for my wife. She's waiting for her to finish work. So
is this the first time she's going to see the BMW?
Yeah, she will not be. She'll be nonplussed.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought to catch her reaction would be a very sort of like a very genuine. What the hell are you driving? Or that looks really cool.
My family's reaction is when they see cars when my daughter saw the Supra, she's like, I don't like it. I'm like, why don't you like it? It's only got 2 seats. It's rubbish.
Oh, so okay. It's a very quantitative analysis there.
Yeah, because then immediately it's like, well, because how families see it. They see it as a selfish car, because they're like, well, where are we gonna sit? That's the first thing that they think. It was what you don't realize.
If she was 17 years old, how old is she?
She's 16.
And, so by next year, when she gets her driving license, it'll be the most attractive car for her.
Yeah, that'll be the story. But the same thing with this. It's got 2 doors. So like immediately they're like, oh, it's got 2 doors. Yeah, but it's got rear seats. Yeah, but now we'll have to clamber.
Oh, does it? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at that. Okay. All right. Well, actually, they look quite substantial.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, they're not bad at all. I imagine. I haven't tried getting into them yet, but they shouldn't be bad, because this essentially is the same chassis as the 3 Series. But the thing is, and the doors are a lot longer on this one. So when you're parked up against other cars, it's a little bit more tricky to get in and out. But or maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know.
Older.
But otherwise, it's basically a 3 Series. But so I'm thinking, oh, it looks cool. It's a coupe profile. And then again, it goes back to what we started out this conversation with. It's like manufacturers not making coupes and sports cars because they don't sell in the big numbers, because people can't see the practicality in those cars.
Was your BMW a coupe?
Yes, my E30 was a coupe. Yeah, it was a 2-door. Yeah, 325i SE.
325i dark blue. Was it dark blue?
Yes, it was dark blue. Yeah.
Dark blue, black leather seats, something like that, or it must have been grey or black leather. That was the fashion at that time.
No, it was dark blue. I love that car. So the E30 and the Supra and the CRX are probably right up in the top 3 cars that I miss the most that I owned.
Yeah. I think you got a lot out of them. I certainly remember the BMW. I don't remember your Supra. I think it was pre us knowing each other. But that BMW was actually a very trendy, gentleman about town kind of car.
Oh yeah,
that's what it was. At that time, it was just brilliant. It was the thing to have.
Oh, back when I had it, I mean, that was like you'd made it sort of thing.
Audis were off the radar. Audis were sort of fuddy-duddy cars. Yeah. Mercedes were sort of the old classic, not old classic, but it was still the sort of. So the BMW was a young man's.
And the BMW
run around.
Yuppie mobile, basically, wasn't it? It was the 3 Series was the Yuppie mobile.
That's exactly right. And you used to wear those red braces, I do recall. You used to snap them on your white shirt from time to time. You should go back to those days. It's sort of like evocative.
I never did. But the thing was, like, because of the cachet and the connotations of owning one of those at the time, Sometimes it did used to be a cause of embarrassment for me because I bought the car because I just enjoyed the engineering and I love driving it. But sometimes it was a little bit too much of a stereotype. It's like young Asian kid. The young Asian? What do you have? Oh, I have a BMW 3 Series. It's almost.
It was cool, and I've noticed that you've perhaps stepped back in time yourself a little bit, age-wise, because you have donned today in your coupe a leather jacket.
Yes,
which is appropriate for your sort of like I'm cool and I'm driving around in a coupe kind of look. So
as you know, and as some of the people following might know, I mean, I lived in Dubai for 13 years, and at that point, I gave up on leather jackets and things like that.
And you found an excuse to wear
exactly.
one.
But when you used to know me before, I did used to wear leather jackets.
Oh yes, you used to wear black leather jackets. Yes, now I recall.
Leather jackets or leather-esque jackets, because this one's not real leather.
No, but it's very appropriate for your.
I shouldn't be telling people that, but that's the truth. But the point is, yeah, so I've always enjoyed wearing this kind of clothes, but yeah, Dubai doesn't really allow that. So back in the UK, I might be increasing my collection of leather jackets. Yes.
Well, there we go. Oh, by the way, quick question: are you planning on doing a Dubai return at some stage in the future? Will you be revisiting the Dubai market?
Yeah, well, I will. I want to keep because I still write for publications out there even now. And I was actually supposed to go back for the last motor show before the budgets were cut. You know, I was supposed to go and do the live shows again. So at some point, yeah, definitely, I will be going back there. Obviously now with the pandemic and stuff, it's not really likely to. But at some point, yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, Dubai was a very good home for me for 13 years, and a lot of great memories, a lot of great friends, a lot of great people that I miss, and I'd love to go and see again. So yeah, definitely.
No, very, very cool. So.
Cool.
So what are you doing? So are you going to go do this photo, the historical?
I don't know. No, because what I have to do now is I have to try and find a photo.
You were in North London though. When you had the BMW, you were living in North London, so it should be easier to find your.
Well, I've got to see what photos I have and which ones are iconic or could be iconic or look iconic, and that I could replicate. Because that picture with the Supra was iconic because of the position.
Yeah, it was quite cool.
And the way I was sat on the car, it was just everything about it was perfect. And the reason, and I know you quite rightly said, why didn't you go back to the original place? And you were right, and that was my plan. But the building behind me in the original picture has been demolished, and the main feature behind me was that building. So I was like, well, there's no point, because unless the building was there, it wouldn't, you can't really tell that you're in the same place. So that was actually near my old home in Islington. That's where that was.
Yeah.
But I was quite surprised when I checked it out on Google Street View. That
gentrified that area in the last 30 years, so it's bound to be very different.
There's been quite a few changes, yeah. But yeah, I might do. I'll have Stay tuned, everybody, and follow hashtag BMW 420i, and we'll see what kind of pictures I managed to get out. All right, man. Cool. I'm gonna fuck off because my wife is gonna walk out any minute now. But
all right,
it's awesome.
Thank you very much. That was good fun, albeit within 50 meters, 100 meters of each other. But that must be your closest. That must be your closest Instagram feed. But we'll do this sometime again soon, whenever you feel like it.
People tuning in from Houston, from India,
from Japan.
I know, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Loved it.
All right, so
we'll do a cigar one next time, and you can smoke a cigar with me.
We'll do that, but we need to do a burger thing as well with.
Oh yes, that's right.
Do that as well. We'll go online when we're having a burger. That'll be hilarious. All right, everybody.
Let's do it, dude.
All right, take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy and hit the bell icon and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. Whilst you're at it, subscribe to browncarguy.com and follow me on social media by just searching for my hashtag. That's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even on TikTok. If you love my content, then please consider sponsoring and supporting it, and you can do that over at patreon.com/browncarguy. And you know what? You can use my platforms to promote your product, service, or brand. My YouTube channel is now closing in on 3,000 subscribers as I record this. Total views are nearly 500,000, and the reach just over the last month is nearly 1 million. So join these amazing people as my patrons, including Mohammed Umaid in the UAE, Partha in India, a tech guru and social media consultant. Find him on Parthans.com. Tom Conway Gordon here in the UK, Isaac Beauchard in the US. He's got some great deals on cool cars at bespokeautos.com. Reza Adil, check him out at Alizarde.Cigars on Instagram. Mohammed Qasim, business consultant. You can find him at wehms.com. Siraj Abbasi at Tiles Italia on Instagram for luxury floor and wall tiling. Mark Waddell in Canada. Zach Kogiani, a globe-trotting pilot with amazing images for sale at zachkogiani.com. And last but not least, my school champ Shaheer Hakki. Thanks for watching. More cool vids on the way. Catch you again in the next one.